A pair of children sat quietly on the porch of an old ranch house, their eyes filled with worry and hunger. Their small voices trembled as they revealed their heartbreaking truth to the rancher who had stopped by. "Our mama went to get food, she never came back." The words carried a weight that broke even the toughest heart, for they were not only a cry of hunger but also of loss and despair. The rancher, a weather-beaten man named Samuel, had seen hardship himself. He had buried a wife once and knew the sting of loneliness more than most. Life on the frontier was never easy. Storms, bandits, hunger, and heartache could break even the strongest spirit. But in the tear-stained faces of those children, Samuel saw more than despair. He saw a calling. He saw two young souls who needed more than pity. They needed protection, warmth, and the love of a family. Kneeling before them, Samuel asked softly about their mother. The little girl, barely 8 years old, whispered that their mama had gone into town to get flour and meat but never returned. Days had passed. Their small cabin pantry stood empty, and their stomachs rumbled in the silence of waiting. Samuel's jaw tightened with resolve. The frontier was no place for children to be abandoned, and if misfortune had taken their mother, he would not let misfortune claim them as well. Rising to his full height, Samuel spoke with steady determination, "Then I'll find her. And if she cannot return, I will take you as my own. And if she still lives, I'll marry her so you'll never know hunger again." The children blinked in shock, their fear melting into the faintest spark of hope. They had expected nothing but silence from the world, but here was a promise, one strong enough to carry them forward. The next morning, Samuel saddled his horse and began his search. His journey carried him through rough trails, across rivers swollen with spring rains, and into the lawless edges of frontier towns. Each place he went, he asked about a woman traveling alone. Some shook their heads, others recalled seeing a tired figure walking with determination, a small sack clutched close to her chest. Samuel's heart burned hotter with each clue, pushing him onward through exhaustion and doubt. At last, in a broken-down shack outside of town, Samuel found her. The children's mother was weak, collapsed from illness, her food sack stolen days earlier by a thief. She had fought to continue for her children, but her strength had failed. Samuel lifted her gently, giving her water, and promised that her children were safe. Tears of relief rolled down her cheeks as she whispered their names, her voice breaking with both joy and sorrow. When Samuel brought her home, the reunion was one of pure grace. The children ran into their mother's arms, clinging to her as though they would never let go again. Samuel stood nearby, his head in his hand, silently watching the love that still survived in their little family. But he also knew that fate had placed him here not only as a rescuer but perhaps as something more. In time, Samuel's words proved true. He courted the children's mother with the quiet respect of a man who had known grief but still believed in love's second chance. She, in turn, came to see in him the strength of a protector and the kindness of a partner who would never let her or her children go hungry again. Their marriage bound not only two hearts but 4 lives together in the kind of family the frontier so rarely allowed, a family built from sorrow, healed by hope, and secured by love. And so, in the wild land where hardship was often the rule, a simple promise from a rancher became the beginning of a new life for a mother and her children. It was proof that even in the loneliest corners of the West, love could still be found, and families could still be made.